Pashupati Advani joins us now. Long time. How you been, my friend?
Good, my friend. This is like a very quiet, sleepy market.
By the way, we had gone to Bombay Stock Exchange today, and I was fondly telling my team that there's a building where Pashupati had his grand office.
Well, anyway. So basically, I think we are having, because our elections are also going on, and because of that, we have some strength in our markets versus the rest of the world is waiting for to reach 100 and a war to continue and all the bad news that is coming. So that, there seems to be nervousness in the rest of the world. India, of course, SIPs continue. People have confidence. Like Modi ji is going to come again, so therefore people have confidence that policies will stay. And I think that's what's fueling our markets. And I think it will be reasonably firm until at least till the election results are announced, as long as there's no great catastrophe in the Western world. So that's the only concern that I have in markets right now. Nikunj?
Hello. I say the word hello because rarely you see a 2% move. Nuresh, has the tide turned for HDFC Bank?
Yes, so it has started making that first change after a long time. So 1400 was the price point, 1470 was the high for almost 2 months. It was in a very tight range. You broke off 1470, went to 1550, and on a retest did not even test 1470. And now we are turning around. So the results could be the next trigger if it can do so. So I would expect 1450, 1470 to be a support, and upside we could slowly and steadily retest the 1600 mark. So technically, a major bottom reversal is done after that move above 1470. Only when it starts going below 1470, maybe there would be a change of view. Otherwise, we are slowly headed higher.
Okay, slowly headed higher. That's the verdict coming in for HDFC Bank. But of course, tomorrow is the earnings, so a lot is contingent upon what they really deliver. Separately, take a look at TVS Supply Chain Solutions. That is up 14%. Force Motors is, gaining with quite a bit of force right now, 13% higher. Elecon Engineering, which is just a result candidate, we saw a solid show when it comes to the top line and the profitability by 10%. And then Motilal Oswal, which is going to consider a bonus issue perhaps on April 26th, is also in focus. So all of these stocks doing quite well. Edelweiss Financials is the other one. In fact, Pashupati, this entire basket of the broking, the AMC, the financial market ancillary, that is the exchanges, CDSL, etc., they all have been doing quite well. And of course, there's a fundamental tailwind to it. But the question becomes, when does it price it in? What do you say of the valuations there, and what's the top recommendation from this pack?
Well, I think that the pack is obviously doing well because as more and more people get involved in the markets, and we are seeing that, there is obviously going to be returns to all the big players, and certainly it's big players. The other thing is that there seems to be some consolidation in the space, and some of the smaller players are closing shop and moving into the fold of the bigger player, which is also helping the earnings. And then, of course, you see, they're spinning out like 360 and Novama are separate from the parents, and I think that's also showing a good thing because it's becoming a separate business as we're getting identified and on very high PEs. But those are all pluses for the entire industry, and I think that's great. It's all I say is finally the industry is getting its due. It's been a pasted industry for many, many, many years.
We also spoke to KK Mystery. Now, we spoke earlier in the morning where his views on HDFC Bank are very important. Right now, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll try and get you an excerpt of our conversation with KK Mystery on where HDFC Bank is headed and why the near-term numbness in HDFC Bank is a matter of time will get corrected.
If you ask me what was it that contributed to that, I would say number one, truly the highest standards of governance. We were willing to compromise on people not being very efficient, not being very great in their job, but even the slightest, even the tiniest question on governance would never ever be tolerated. So that I would say would be one principle. Second principle is we kept the head count very low, very small, didn't have too many people. For an asset base as big as ours, we had just about 4,500 employees in HDFC Limited at the time of the merger. We invested a lot in technology and systems, and we kept an atmosphere in the company which was free of politics. If you ask me honestly, I consider that as one of the most important contributors to our that everyone contributed. And the third I would say is that we have very, very clear goals that we set for ourselves. Opportunities were always, India was growing and India continued to grow. And I truly believe that even today the growth opportunity for financial services in India is absolutely phenomenal. When I joined HDFC in 1981, October 1981, our share total capital was 10 crores.
That's it.
10 crores. And our market capitalization was about 8.5 crores.
8.5 crores.
It was trading below market, below par. That was 1981 October. At the time of the merger in 2022, 41 odd years later, our market capitalization was 60 billion with a B dollars. That was the kind of wealth that Touchwood we created. And besides HDFC itself, we had a number of companies. We had the bank, we had the life insurance, general insurance, asset management, HDFC Credila, venture capital, real estate, all of that. So you take the total market capitalization of all the listed companies in the group at the time of the merger, it was about $175 billion US.
Wow.
That was the kind of wealth we created.
Well, in the meantime, take a look at the stock price of Anupam Rasayan. That's been a sharp spike. Ramkrishna Forgings is the other one, and then Nuvoco Vistas is also one stock which is actually perking up as we speak. So quite a few buzzes in the trading session. But Nikunj, what surprises me today is the kind of result reaction that we have seen for Infosys and Bajaj Auto, and complete, distinct from what the earnings was. Infosys was very disappointing. The stock is actually in the green right now, and you have Bajaj Auto where there was nothing to compare in the numbers, but it's actually down at a time when M&M, Maruti, etc.
See, Nisha, what matters is what news is in the place. With Infosys, the stock had already fallen in the run-up to the numbers. TCS had gone up in the run-up to the numbers. Bajaj Auto has been a massive outperformer in the run-up to the numbers. So, in the near-term, market will always try and build up on expectations, sell out the news. So, if you ask me, is there a long-term trajectory change for Infosys post the numbers? The answer to that is no, sir. I think the business for IT services is in a disarray. Within that, TCS is up there, and rest of the pack I think is shaky. The business for Bajaj Auto is in structural uptrend, which I think is visible the way they've demonstrated their ability to move from two-wheelers to three-wheelers, and from three-wheelers to premium biking, and premium biking now to what they're doing in terms of the EV space. 20% margin of environment when exports are picking up and domestic market is in a sense struggling. I think it's a clear example that the worst is behind Bajaj Auto because they've demonstrated the ability to gain market share. Now what happens today, tomorrow could be a function of technicals, who bought before the numbers, who wanted to sell out before the numbers. Those factors could be at play. But from a positioning standpoint, Infosys remains an underperformer and Bajaj Auto remains an outperformer. Pushupati Advani, do you agree? Do you disagree? You have the option to do both.
No, I absolutely agree. I think that see again, what are we looking at in the market? Right now, everyone is grasping at straws because you're just trying to find good news. If there's expectation of good news, you buy into the stock, trading people, and then once the news comes, good or bad, you get out and move on to the next one. You got earnings. A lot of people, play this game all the time, and with a pretty good margin on success. So, why not it continues? It also creates volume in the market, creates liquidity in the market. So it's very good for our system. And, so let it continue. Nikunj?
So what's been your approach to it, Pashupati? I mean, where are you shopping in this market? Where are you taking some chips off the table, if I may use that terminology?
Well, I have not liked in IT really because I just think that, as you said, the whole sector is in disarray because the business models are changing. AI is coming. It looks like AI, the main profit is going to go to the big American companies rather than to spread to the rest of the world. So, and our guys are not able to, pick up and get new business fast enough, even though we've got a currency that's got weaker and that should increase their bottom line. So, but I've not been enthralled with IT. Where I am excited is I think that infrastructure is still continuing, and it's continuing in, spades. So I would say that, you've got all your construction companies, all the cement, all the steel, because roads are being built, buildings are finished, tunnels are being made. We're seeing the coastal road in Mumbai open slowly, but we're seeing it. So those of us who've enjoyed part of it are actually saying, let's now wait for the rest of it. So I think that all these things are occupied. They're being driven by the government from the front, and those are the companies we bought. And you're getting good dividends also from these companies. And I think you've made a sectoral change into some good profitable government companies over the last 6 months. You've all done very well, and I think that's really where we even should continue to go even now.
That's the take coming in on the markets and the stocks which are buzzing around right now. But Tata Communications is one stock which is down about 5%. The numbers actually came day before. Yes, they were slightly muted, especially on the margin front. But we did speak with the management and they sound confident that even though they can't call a bottom on the margins as yet, they're expecting a bit of a recovery. Given the stock is down almost 5%, let's listen in to the management's take.
There is a drop, but I would say largely it is going by design. We're in a mode of investment. When we called out our strategy to double our revenues, we said that we need to invest in the markets with people on the ground and invest in marketing. As an integrated unit, the media business will turn profitable. And similarly, Kalera integrated with our erstwhile Digo and InstaCC platforms, which is what we call as a customer interaction suite, that will turn profitable this year. Our strategy very clearly is to improve the margins in this coming year. I don't want to comment on a quarter-on-quarter basis, but our strategy when we acquired these companies is to deliver on the synergies, to deliver and make them profitable, which means that our overall company profitability will go up. That is what we will be working on.
Where are we? We've just maintained that comeback. Maintain that comeback both on benchmark indices. From the day's low, how much is the recovery, Kunal, now? You're up 140 and you were down about 150.
Yeah.
That's
so,
about 300 points of 50, right?
Yeah, 350 approximately.
Which is impressive.
Very good.
Which means the support in the market is now respected. And now the quest to find the new resistance or new highs on.
So I think not just that key support point of 22,000. We've reversed the sentiment of yesterday, Nikunj, which is the most important part, because yesterday in this last 1 hour, 1.5 hour, the Nifty fell 300, 350 points. The Bank Nifty fell by I think 800, 900 points. Now to reverse that immediately next day requires a lot of strong push from bulls or buyers. And when that happens, that's generally an indication that a major bottom is in place. And we and then the data complements that with the extreme amount of writing at 22,000 put option. And this coming at a point when there's so much of geopolitical news flow which started, which we started the day off with, and then we see this kind of technical data point. So the last of indication clearly indicates that we are at a point where the is much more favorable to try and go for a buy position over here. Yes, there could be an extreme amount of news flows which can keep on lingering around over the markets for the next 1 or 2 weeks. But then if the data points still stand to be robust, then I think the chances of the uptrend is pretty much on the higher side.
You had sell calls in the market.
Yeah, two sell calls. PHEL.
So are they still intact or they've been topped out?
More or less targets have been reached. For both.
And if somebody is following those calls, get out.
Yeah, I think the targets are reached. I think you tend to book out those stocks.
Okay, you got the target.
BHEL was one of the stocks.
So the stop losses were not triggered. The targets were reached.
Yes.
Okay, but no shorts right now.
No shorts right now.
Okay. Naresh, can I say that half an hour is left, 48 hours, it's a weekend, you come back, you don't know what will happen on geopolitical. Should one go with long positions, come back on Monday, hoping that you'll get a better exit, or it's too dangerous to have overnight positions?
So, an overnight position with just a view of a day, yes, there is a risk because we'll see volatility. If somebody has a positional view, then we are seeing more advances and declines. For example, you have stocks hitting new 52-week highs and all-time high also. So you have a Bharti Airtel in the last 2 sessions hit new all-time high. Both the days even the markets were down. So if one has a stock-specific view, one can carry on. But for say a single day view, it would still be a little more scary. One data point which I'm looking out for is after a long time we are seeing Nifty futures in a discount. This tells you that there has been a lot of short covering today, a lot of short strapped. So we need to look at data again from next week. So stock specific bias remains positive, but not for a single day, but for a week or so. Things still look interesting on the long side.
That's the market mood right now. On that note, Pashupati, we let you go. Thanks so much for making time and speaking with us today. But let's take the closing trade ideas from our chartist. Kunal, you go first.
So Bharti Airtel is something which you recommended in the the day, the first couple of hours. I think that's a stock which is reasonably well. From being on a negative side, the stock has come back towards at its multi-week, multi-month high. So would maintain that buy call on Bharti Airtel.
Not month, multi-week. It's a record high for Bharti Airtel, and it's been holding on to those gains. The other one, of course, is JSW Energy. You also have KSB Pumps, Motilal Oswal, and Elecon Engineering. All of these stocks are at all-time high levels. Naresh, what's your closing trade pick?
So that would be a buy on IDFC Limited, where the stock has finally started showing a lot of relative strength after correcting down to 108 levels, slowly and steadily moving up. And now is getting into a range of 120 to 125, making a flag formation. Going forward, could break that flag and head up to a new 52-week.
The top recommendations coming in from our chartists at this point of time. Time now to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. The last 30 minutes of the trading session of the week. We'll track that when we come back.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.